about the funds itself? Have the authorities responded to it? Is it accounted for or not, and why? If they respond to it, won't it make rubbish of any opinion anybody else thinks?
No, that's what exactly NNPC had done. NNPC had been responding to these missing funds. This missing funds. I started by telling you how much missing funds we have been having over years before even the present administration.
Missing, unaccounted, unrelated. These are all figures.
Oh dear.
But the Nigerians out there, and indeed the people of this country, are not interested in missing. They are interested, don't get me wrong, in missing, unremitted and all that. It's not about the nomenclature. It's clarity. What is going on? I believe that's what the PIB was supposed to achieve.
Yeah, sure.
Opening up the petroleum industry. So why are we still having murky waters? And you said something about the minister, the accusations or allegations that the minister is going around with a private jet. And you alluded, you put it side by side with a private company, private concerns. Chevron, Mobil, they're all private concerns compared to a public servant. So that murkiness around the Petroleum Ministry in Nigeria, why is it not cleared as a PIB is supposed to do?
Good. That's essentially part of why we are looking for the PIB bill. You see, the PIB bill is going to improve corporate governance. It is going to bring in interest by way of privatization. These people are going to run as companies that will have a budget, unlike what we keep accusing NNPC that how come you don't have a budget, you only operate the oil industry and probably give us change, according to some pessimists. They say they just operate in the oil industry, and whatever is remaining becomes what the revenue for Nigeria is. And in such circumstances, most of those companies will now stand on their own, have their own boards, be accountable to them. As it stands now, the NNPC is hardly accountable to anybody other than the presidency. So that is why everybody is looking for the PIB bill, because the PIB bill is like an amalgam of all the legislations or statutes that govern the oil industry in one piece, such that it puts the oil industry on auto drive. Let's compare it with a situation where, okay, say for instance, the local content bill. You know that local content bill has succeeded very seriously. Most Nigerians are so happy, even though IOCs are quite uncomfortable with the fact that, the local content kind of screws them too hard in the sense that this job must be done by Nigerians. And they keep insisting that, look, we will bring the people who will do it. And the local content group will say, sorry, Nigerians will do this. They say, no, it's going to waste our time. They say, we like that time to be wasted. And based on that, we are not only saying that the local content bill has done well, it is traceable to people like Desiani, people like the presidency, for instance, because without the political will, those people cannot do well.
But is that not why these IOCs are fighting the PIB? Because it's going to squeeze them harder.
Yeah,
and
sure.
so that they are accused of bribing here.
That brings us to the National Assembly, because if, for instance, we are talking about patriotism, the National Assembly, this is one bill that they will pass it so fastly. So it is an urgent bill, in the sense that it is going to position, like I started in my intro, that everything we do in this country depends on oil. 80-something% of our living is based on oil. So why would that bill be lying in the National Assembly for years? And until today, there is no hope that it is even going to be passed by this current National Assembly. Why? That's the question we can ask. And those are things to probe. Why is it that the National Assembly is not so interested in a thing that Nigerians are so interested in?
Mr. Eke, I'm also looking at, because, there's certain things that you've said now, something about, sometimes certain things happen and then you find that it's coated with a veneer of patriotism, and then at times you have to look more at the messenger than the message. But, you do admit that the NNPC is not the most transparent organization. Do you admit that?
No. I've once said it on this program, so I'm not about to recant it.
And if we all say that there is some corruption somewhere, the country is losing millions, not just in terms millions, billions of dollars in terms of revenue that ought to generally come to it, in terms of not just pipeline vandalism or bunkering, in terms of stolen crude oil, but also within the system. How do you think that this kind of things can come out, be addressed properly, without it being made to look like it's the opposition, even within the media?
You see, like I said, the answer is the Petroleum Industry Bill. The moment it becomes an act, you see, we want a situation where there is a framework, a governance framework, such that it doesn't give you a lot of elbow space to go on an administrative wandering. In which case, will it work this way? Should it work this way? In such a manner that if A comes, Barrister George JK becomes the GMD or Minister of Petroleum, there is a straight-jacketed way of working in the place. Any other thing you do beyond that or above that becomes unlawful. So, but the way it is now, it's like, it's so fluid that decisions are taken, and that was part of why I was praising the administration. That if, for instance, the local content chief, I think it's called executive secretary, takes a decision that, look, Mobile, you cannot fabricate, you cannot bring this fabrication from abroad. There are people in Nigeria that are capable of doing that. The headship of Mobile, those people are not just businessmen, they are politicians. They can reach the president. Their reach is infinite. They can reach the president, they can reach the minister and say, look at what your executive secretary is saying. And they will reverse it.
Reach them.
I'm trying to tell you
buy
how.
Them up or what?
Say it again.
Would they buy them up? Or how would they reach
them? No. Politics is all about lobbying. Walk across and say, look, we're uncomfortable with this. This project cannot go on because your boys there cannot allow us to do what we need to do, because they are saying it has to be fabricated locally. And those people who are fabricating it locally will take 4 months to do that. Meanwhile, we can bring it in from Holland for the next 3 weeks or thereabouts. So, if the people have goodwill, like what we call political will, which is, of course, what the minister has and the presidency, by supporting those people, you will just say, look, they have taken a decision, let it be that way. The same thing with the PPMC people. You see, a pastor once said that you may not know that your heart is beating until you begin to run into trouble. Because you walk across, you sleep, you go to school, you go to work and all of you, forgetting that there is some pump in you that is beating at all points in time guiding you. Until last 2 weeks, when we had to now queue for this fuel, for whatever reason it was, we had enjoyed a situation where you drive into a filling station and you pick up fuel. For how many years? Even though somebody can say that is it not the work of the PPMC, that they have done their work. But that is the work of the former PPMC people. Yeah, they didn't do that work.
Although we await the passage of the PIB, what gives us even the assurance that even if they pass the PIB, that perhaps all will be well? Because even with the existing laws, look at the kind of news that comes up from NNPC. Today, it's either the pipelines cannot be properly monitored or vandals cannot be kept off, or we don't know how much exactly we produce per day, or some sort of allegation about unremitted funds to the Federation account. So these things may eventually pop up, even with the passage of the PIB, perhaps.
You know, I have been an advocate and I belong to the school of thought of change in orientation of Nigerians. I have always believed that no matter the volume of laws that you throw across or you bring to the table, it will take the will of Nigerians or the operators to make it work. I am advocating for a PIB bill so that at least we can have some legal framework. We can have some administrative paradigm, within which to work and within which to situate our problems and get them solved. But you see, ordinarily, just like my opinion about the Constitution and all of that, it has remained the same. That you can get the best law in the world. There are people whose expertise is how to circumvent that law. Their business is how do we go around this law to achieve our own personal results. Before this time, NNPC, like I keep saying, that NNPC is actually the focus of most Nigerians. Did we ever know
politicians.
Did we ever know that innocuous places and dry places like pension and all of that will be doling out some billions?
Is that what they call it, the cash cow? Some say ATM. Is that the reason?
There was one article somebody wrote, I think it was Shegu Adeni, that wrote about how the GMD of NNPC is like the accountant of, the treasurer of the presidency that he had known.
Okay, we're out of time, but quickly answer this question by Abu Dennis. He says, is the NNPC bound by the FOI Act? Because I have it on authority that they said they are not bound by it. That's from Abu Dennis.
I'm not sure that his authority is genuine. I'm not sure. Because NNPC, at one point in time, they come out to the public to explain what has happened. They are also amenable to court action. Say, for instance, you are looking for a particular document in NNPC and you cannot get it. You approach the court and force them to make that document available to you.
They're not above the law.
NNPC is not above the law. They are not above the even one of the things that strikes me that NNPC is not above the law is that within that period, I mean, immediately after that demonstration, the oil subsidy, petroleum subsidy, you know, Bamidele Aturu went to court, trying to bring the court to restrain NNPC from increasing oil price. I mean, of course, he got judgment last year, and then NNPC is bound by it.
So, any further plans, even though they say market forces?
No. But you see, the point is that before you can even increase the price of oil products, it has to be gazetted. It has to be made public.
Interesting. Okay. Mr. George Eke, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
We'll return after this break. We've got another matter on our plate today, so don't go away.